Logbook ladies and bobtail boys, plot out your prolific pedal run, lube up your landing gears, and 10-4, good buddy, I've got to get this piggy back to the chicken coop by sundown, over.
Copy that, Red Rider. It's time to talk Tull to me. Over.
10, copy that.
10 copies.
10 copies. I'd like 10 copies.
Over 4.
Welcome back, I am Omen Thomas Sade.
And I am Nick McGill.
Together we are Feckless Momes.
And this cold coffee is Talk Tull to me.
Ride shotgun in the wiggle wagon while we traverse the moonlight miles, hauling a full load of each and every track that runaway rock band Jethro Tull have ever dispatched to the loading dock of our ear holes. We will baffle the bears in the air by blind spotting in Martin and Barr's Big Hole. We will make sure that young Matthew Pegg is well supplied with motion lotion, and we will stack Scott Hunter securely to ensure that we make it through the sandbox shiny side up. And if we can avoid Old Smoky and steer clear of the Pickle Park lot lizards, we might just get our manifest stamped by the dancing DOT inspector, the Go-Go Juice Gallivanter, the Hot Load Harmonist, the Pavement Princess Penny Whistler, the Gritty City Kitty who got admitty been torn for fitty, Ian Authorized Carrier Anderson.
That was good. I was expecting more trucker slang, but that was good.
That was all trucker slang.
I know. I feel like I was expecting more absurd and...
What do you want from me, Nick?
I just want naughty words from you, I guess, really.
Well, wait till I tell you what a lot lizard is.
It's a lot of lizard.
That's a whole lot of lizard. Speaking of which, Nick, before our tails fall off and we have to regrow them, what is it that brings us together on this fine day?
Today, we are here to discuss the second to last track off of Nightcap.
Whee!
Track number 19 off of disc 2. This is Truck Stop Runner.
This is the part, if Nightcap were a drive, this would be the part where you know it's probably not safe for you to drive anymore, but you're only 100 miles away.
You're so close.
You're so close.
Yeah. So you put on Talk Tull to me to stay awake.
Oh,
don't do that.
I don't know. I don't know if that's safe. I used to listen to Jethro Tull. I remember there was a drive when I would drive from upstate New York down to Sarah Lawrence. I would be like, well, that's just 3 Tull albums.
It's perfect. The perfect length.
Perfect length.
Truck Stop Runner is 1991, for the record. This was the same year as Catfish. Catfish came out in 91. And I couldn't find any personnel. It sounds like you found personnel on this one because Truck Stop Runner is not explained in the wiki from what I saw. It is?
Track 17, 1991, recorded at Ian Anderson's home studio and Wormwood Studios, featuring Martin Barr, Matthew Pegg, and Scott Hunter.
That's because I was looking for track 19, which does not exist.
It's not on the album. It's on the secret menu.
When they re-release Nightcap, which is inevitable, they will put on a track 19.
But no 18.
No 18, yeah, that'd be weird, strange.
So, Nick, with all that in mind, let's see if the American vibe of Catfish bleeds over into Truck Stop Runner.
You didn't put in this little fun fact. Doane Perry is mistakenly credited on this track in the CD booklet. That's fun. But Scott Hunter did the drumming.
That's so fun.
That is a delightful little tidbit.
Yeah, who can remember? Probably Doane Perry.
Who's that Scott Hunter person? He doesn't even have a link. That's how unknown Scott Hunter is.
Nick, why don't we pull into the rest stop of this song and have a listen for the first time for some of us.
Ooh.
So fresh and so clean.
That's exciting. You're going to like this one.
Okay.
I demand it.
Okay. Yikes. You're going to enjoy this. That's a threat.
You better. Omen, if you had listened to this organically without a threat hanging over your head like the sword of Damocles, would you have liked this?
Let's see. Yes. Do you like this song? Yes, no, maybe. I do. This is great. This album has been such a frickin' roller coaster because every single track is something totally different.
Yeah.
I was definitely not expecting this sound.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to break it down. It really does seem to be in the Americana world, sonically, lyric-wise, in the same way that Catfish is.
Right. Yep.
I was actually getting big Creedence Clearwater Revival energy from this song.
It's funny.
Even almost a little like Simon and Garfunkel.
Paul Simon, that's what I get.
Okay, yes, exactly. It has that kind of like, oh, I'm just a freewheeling dude with a guitar.
Yeah, and that little penny whistle solo at like 148. Is at the exact same time as the penny whistle solo that sounds so very similar in Call Me Al from Paul Simon from 1989. It's so reminiscent of it. It's bonkers.
Could it be that this is either intentionally or unintentionally a bit of a tribute to that kind of sound?
I mean, it really feels like it. It really does.
I'm surprised that this isn't on Catfish.
Yeah, it's a little too bright, I think.
In contrast.
Yeah. I think Catfish has like a tinge of grunge to it, of dirt. This is just like such a bright, that the acoustic and that penny whistle very much just keep it so light.
Even the setting that Martin has his guitar on is very like electric but folk twangy.
Truck stop runner. I'll be a truck stop runner.
Yeah, that really, really comes out at the end when they kind of just fade out and he just gets free reign to kind of noodle. That's when I really noticed the electric.
Yeah.
I was picking up the acoustic most of the other time, but yeah, it's very folky, Americana folky, twangy.
Even the bass, it has that kind of like relaxed. Sometimes prog rock can feel stark. Like, sometimes anything that gets so intellectual. I'm thinking of this because I'm trying to edit my own writing, and I want to shoot myself in the head. but you know, it's like sometimes if a piece is too intellectual, it can come off as sterile.
Right.
And I think that very broadly speaking about prog rock, sometimes that happens.
Mm-hmm.
This is the obvious, where it's so warm, it's so inviting, it's so relaxed, it's so digestible.
Yeah.
It's full of fiber.
The drums and the bass in particular are very, very light, very approachable. They're not so far tucked in the back that you don't really sense them, but they're also not that heavy driving. I only have one purpose, and that's to accompany this song. They're fun. There's a musicality to them that isn't super, super common all the time.
This song is served with a side of collard greens and a nice thick piece of fatback.
That sounds lovely. Some cornbread?
A little cornbread.
Game over.
I mean, it's like black beans on the side.
That's it. That's all I want. Some moonshine, go blind. Finish your evening.
Let's get more into the music.
Yeah.
I would say the song is deceptive because it has that relaxed, easy feeling. I got a peaceful, easy feeling. 'Cause I got a peaceful, easy feeling. You know that song?
Yeah, who is that?
Peaceful, easy feeling. Is it the Eagles?
I think you're right. Or Allman Brothers. I think it's the Eagles.
It's the Eagles. It's the Eagles.
Yeah, okay.
The song is called Peaceful, Easy Feeling.
Does what it says on the tin.
It does what it says on the tin.
It does exactly what it says on the tin.
Despite the easy feeling of this song, there are some complexities going on musically.
Oh, yeah.
That belie its easygoing nature. If you scratch the surface, it is in fact English.
Okay.
It's a thin veneer, a skillfully applied but thin veneer of Americanism on this song. Right at 20 seconds, we have but the girl in the print dress. There's this modulation of the chord structure that could easily have been done without. You know, this song could follow the same 3 chords and then switch it up for the chorus. But just in the middle of that verse, we kind of get this sense of danger, mystery, still lighthearted and fun. But it's a complexity that is easy to not notice because the whole thing is cohesive.
Long time counting on miles. Oh, I'd like a cup of black coffee and a piece of sweet cake.
Now, you attribute that to it being English. Could that be attributed to just Prague in general?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank you for spitting on my metaphor.
Name an American prog band.
Rush.
Canadian.
So close.
I know there are, but I'm not well versed on like prog in general. I'm really just mildly versed in Tull.
Are Genesis English?
Yeah. You don't know any more prog bands, do you?
I know prog bands. The Who.
They're British too, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they're not prog, are they?
The Who?
Yeah.
Maybe. What about Yes? Kansas? Yes is American. King Crimson is American.
Oh, King Crimson's American. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Are they American? I may not trust. No, they're English. Kansas is American. Yes is English.
Kansas. We can go with Kansas.
We can go with Kansas, and we can go with Spock's Beard.
I've heard of them. I've never heard. Yeah, no, I've never heard their music, but ooh, we got a storm rolling in.
Dream Theater is from Boston.
Oh, Dream Theater, yeah. That's like the next generation of prog, though, I would say.
Prog 2.0.
Yeah.
We have some of the best and most delightful harmonies that
So good.
I think I've ever heard in Tull.
It can't be just Ian. I think we've got some of the boys chipping in here.
I would say so. And that is partially what lends it that Creedence Clearwater, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young type feeling to it. You really get the sense of like, oh yeah, it's a band.
She went on in this way for a while, like some 60s sister playing a part.
Although nobody is credited on having the backing vocals on here. So, I mean, who knows who it could be, but I mean, I'm guessing Matt Pegg.
But also they credited the wrong drummer. So I'd say all bets are off.
Valid point. Yep.
At 1 minute in, there's a fun development. What is that fun development?
Housing. It's a housing development.
It's a housing development.
Oh, she says, come on over to my house.
Okay, so the come on over to my house, the first time that we have the she said, the song takes another kind of step forward in terms of its sonic nature.
Was that a key change? Not quite. Just a little step up, right?
I don't think it's a key change. It's just a little bit of a bump, a little speed bump, a little detour.
Okay. Yeah. It's not super noticeable. Like you said earlier, like you could miss these moments in this song, but there are a couple of points like this where it builds on it and it grows a little bit more and it kind of flourishes out a little bit. It's not simple when it starts, but it's not as simple as when it starts. You know, it does, by the time it's done, we're really like everybody's just kind of ripping along.
And even those repeated gestures that bum, 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 doom, bum, bum, bum.
like that one. That also feels very Paul Simon to me.
It does. It has a little bit of syncopation in it as well, which kind of gives more texture to the song. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the penny whistle solo. It's
banging.
It's long. It's banging. Mm-hmm. It's not a flute.
It's not a flute. It's certainly better. I know we just talked penny whistle not too long ago. I don't remember which one it was.
Commons Brawl.
Was it Commons Brawl?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So we talked Commons Brawl, but I feel like that penny whistle was pretty truncated. It was pretty quick. Whereas this one's filled out. We get a full journey with the penny whistle. He's not
Journey. Another prog band.
There it is. He's not just Kansas. Nope. He's not just playing it like a couple of noodly notes. Like he's really going to town on this thing. It's really fun to hear.
It's got great structure. It's a structured solo, which we love. After the penny whistle solo, I was expecting Martin to take a turn. At 2:30, he does like a one measure kind of lick, and I was like, ooh, we're going to get to hear a solo with this cool guitar setting. Not the case.
Stop.
Not until the end.
Yeah, that's right. He noodles us off.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Truck stop runner. I'll be a truck stop runner.
Before we go any further, I want to go back to the penny whistle real quick. I feel like this is the first time we've heard Ian play the penny whistle the way that he plays the flute. You know, there's more character to it there.
That is an interesting statement, and I don't know if I agree with it, but I will not disagree with it.
I appreciate that. And my doctor thanks you.
I think for me, what sets it apart is a lot of times when we hear the penny whistle, its role is to bring a very English folk sensibility.
Right. Yeah.
And in this case, he's really finding the American side of the penny whistle.
Yeah.
Which is the left side.
Is that where it is?
Yeah.
On the stereo, it's the left side.
Yeah. He's almost incorporating some blues scales into it, which is pretty cool.
Neo-Americana bluesy. Yeah. Yeah.
Codfish blues.
Codfish blues.
I'm going to drive my Vauxhall to the levee.
But the levee ran dry.
As American as gooseberry crumble.
Yes. That good old classic American favorite, Spotted Dick.
I saw her at the diner drinking elderflower spritz.
Having a shandy.
I just want to focus. The last thing is those ooh, uh-ohs.
Yeah.
They're so fun.
They are super, super fun.
Do you remember when we studied Shakespeare?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. So let's move on. No, in Shakespeare, you know, whenever you're teaching Shakespeare and the student gets to a line such as, oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt. And they go, oh, that this too sullied flesh would melt. And you say, wait a minute, you're missing a huge opportunity. Anytime there's an oh, you can make that 3 minutes freaking long. You can live in that single vowel for as long as you want. There are no rules. It is a cadenza in the text. And I feel like Ian is really he's really bringing his Shakespeare training that I'm projecting onto him to bear on these O's. He's getting a lot of emotion in there.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of character to it.
Yeah.
They're there for a reason. Ian writes the O just like Shakespeare writes the O. They're there for a reason.
I've often said Ian Anderson is the Shakespeare of vowels in Prague.
Yeah, you have. Yeah. That's your bumper sticker, actually.
I have a t-shirt coming that says that.
Fun little fact about the O in general. I learned this in Latin class when translating the Aeneid. It starts with O Muse.
Oh! Oh, Muse.
When addressing someone, when you're addressing that line to someone, it is only an O. There's no H on it. But if it's like, oh, that's OH.
Ho.
Yeah.
That's H-O.
That's H-O.
That's what people say when they are addressing me.
Yeah. Oh ho.
Nick.
Here we are, right off the bat. Let's go into lyrics, Omen.
Let's go into lyrics. Before we get to lyrics, let's talk about the title, Truck Stop Runner.
Okay.
I think the title is very amusing because it belies the American veneer. You see a little bit of English popping through.
Oh, the runner part?
Yeah, to do a runner is a very, very
yeah.
English expression.
Yeah.
Truck stop runner. I don't think we use that in the same way in America.
No, to me, runner is doing a dine and dash.
Which is what he's talking about. Sort of.
Yeah, no. He's not dashing because he doesn't want to pay.
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Yet another song in the category of I have successfully avoided sex category.
Put that in the folder.
Sex came a knocking and I wasn't home.
And I went a walking.
And I was slipped out the back door.
Yeah, so in terms of category, this is a blue collar, like working class, like I'm just an American Joe from Tucson, Arizona.
Yes. Yeah. But unlike Laszlo Cravensworth, Ian Anderson has become a vampire to continue to avoid sexual encounters forever.
Yes. Yeah. The exact opposite, yeah.
I will bite your neck, but in a completely platonic way.
I won't enjoy it.
In fact, I'd rather just sit around the donation truck. Wait for someone to spill.
So, truck stop is a place along probably a fairly frequented highway by truckers, and it's a place usually they can fuel up. There's usually showers there. Yep. There's a diner. There's a place to park and sleep.
Yep.
Big old parking lot. Frequented by lot lizards as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ladies of the
dusk.
Companionship.
Companionship, yes. Ladies of companionship. Also probably gentlemen of companionship.
You know, any truck stop in a storm.
Any hole is a goal. Especially a glory hole. Let's not mention the fact that the entire culture of trucking is partly caused by the decision in the mid-40s, post-war, to invest heavily in highway infrastructure rather than rail infrastructure because of the successful lobbying efforts of the petroleum industry.
Amazing. Brilliant. Totally saw it coming and nobody's surprised, but still sickened.
Yeah, but let's not talk about that.
No, we wouldn't.
Talk about the culture of trucking.
Truckers in general are, I think, looked down upon a little bit in the like, oh, it's a trucker, you know, but like truckers are the backbone of industry in this country in order to transfer things hither and yon.
Absolutely.
There is some stuff that's gone by rail, but there are only specific spots where they can end up, which then they get loaded onto trucks and brought to places.
Yes, and that's actually called intermodal shipping. So the idea that the same container could be on a ship, get loaded onto a freight train, get loaded onto, get attached to a truck, a tractor trailer.
Yeah.
That's intermodal.
Oh.
But the whole culture of trucking and the reality of trucking has found its way into American culture. Just to name a few, Truckin' by the Grateful Dead, 18 Wheels and a Dozen Roses, 6 Days on the Road, Roll On, Phantom 309, Big Wheels in the Moonlight, This Is How We Roll, Truck Driver's Prayer, Truck Driver's Sweetheart, Truck Driver's Blues, The Highway Patrol, Convoy, great song, Convoy. There's tons of songs about trucking.
And that's just from your personal playlist.
And that's just songs that I've written. If you want a cool film that features trucking, you could watch Smokey and the Bandit, featuring Nick's dad's mustache on loan.
No. That's Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck's mustache was my dad's. Burt Reynolds was too sexy for my dad's mustache.
Okay. Great film about evading the law. And as I was looking up trucker terminology, a lot of it has to do with the law.
Yeah.
Bears, baby bears, big bears, white bears, polar bears. Those are all types of different police.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah.
In your community, it's something very different.
Oh, yes. Yes. It must be a lot of code switching for all the gay truckers out there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The gay police truckers. No, that doesn't work.
Yep.
That doesn't work.
Stopped off on a long drive down from the high country.
Stopped off on a long drive down from the high country.
His path is taking him south, down from the high country, and he's been driving for a long time. He needs a sandwich, a rest. He needs to stretch his legs. He needs to take a shower. He needs to take a nap.
Yep.
He ends up in the little restaurant.
Yeah, the truck stop diner, like you were saying. Mm-hmm. Spent a long time sitting here in the truck, presumably.
Right, yeah.
Long time counting hot miles.
Spent a long time sitting there, long time counting hot miles.
I think one misconception about trucking is people think it's like an easy sit-down job.
Oof.
It's very physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very physically taxing. I remember I saw a picture once that was illustrating the solar damage
Oh, wow.
on a trucker's face, because in America we sit on the left hand, so your the left side of the face gets more sun exposure. And it was a great illustration because you could see the left hand side of this guy's face was way more wrinkly than the right side.
That's crazy.
If only he had worn sunscreen.
Right. And on top of that, sitting for so long is excruciating and terrible for you.
Oh, yes.
And driving a big truck. I've driven a tiny little trailer and it is insanely stressful.
Yeah.
And awful to drive around other humans while driving that. So driving one of those things, it's a lot. It's a lot of responsibility.
And what do you need to combat that stress? A cup of black coffee and a piece of sweet cake.
Delicious.
Oh, I'd like a cup of black coffee and a piece of sweet cake.
But running into a slight problem here. The girl in the print dress doesn't want my money. She won't take it. She says, oh, she says.
But the girl in the print dress doesn't want my money. She won't take it, she says.
What does she say?
She says, I just know you're a Leo. I can tell you've got a lion's heart.
Oh, she says, I just know you're a Leo. I can tell you got a lion's heart.
Really interesting. I don't know that we've ever heard any zoological. No, what's
Astrological.
I don't think we've heard any astrological content in Tull ever.
Astronomical, not
Astronomical,
astrological.
yes, but not
Yeah.
astrological.
He's using this very specific instance to illustrate this character.
Absolutely. So we get the sense that she's a little bit of a free spirit, maybe. She's got a little woo-woo in her. She went on this way for a while, like some 60s sister playing a part.
She went on in this way for a while, like some 60s sister playing a part.
So it's almost in imitation of the hippie movement.
Yeah, right.
That in 91, she's a holdover from another time or something. He responds, he deflects, oh, this cup of black coffee is going to do me just fine. Through the dust in the mirror tiles, I can see that door, keep it close behind.
Oh, this cup of black coffee gonna do me just fine. Through the dust in the mirror tiles, I can see that door, keep it close behind.
That is so great. If anyone hasn't been in an American diner, one of the typical design features is mirrors. And often the mirrors are behind the counter. So you could look at the mirror and see behind you. So he's watching the door to make sure he could get a quick exit.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
If things get too awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, she says, come on over to my house. Make a journey here sometime. You know there's a party going on. A ladder in my stockings you can climb. There's a ladder you can climb. Wow.
She says, come on over to my house. Make a journey here sometime. You know there's a party going on. A ladder in my stocking you can climb. There's a ladder you can climb.
Yeah, didn't we hear... Oh, Staring Up at Infinity. That's what I was thinking of. Was that White Innocence?
Oh, wait a minute. No. You're thinking Budapest staring up at infinity.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and her legs went on forever, like staring up at infinity.
White Innocence is that she had a perfect hole in her stockings that made a perfect window to her heart.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
A perfect hole was in her stockings, and made a perfect window to her heart.
But then there's also in Undressed to Kill, where he says there's a teardrop on her stockings, like a glittering teardrop.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. There was a teardrop sparkle on the inside of her thigh.
Yes.
That is Undressed to Kill. Wow, good call.
Oh, okay.
Good memory on that one, that's for sure.
There was a teardrop sparkle on the inside of her thigh.
So anytime that the singer in question mentions stockings, you can be assured that a passionate night of avoiding lovemaking is to follow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this is interesting. You know, I imagine if you were a person who worked at a truck stop, you might have ample opportunity to have a rotation of lovers.
Yeah, you're never in one place long.
Yes, if you're the trucker, then you are never in one place long.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Okay, yeah.
If you're stationed, you could be like, hey, I'm going to write my number on the bathroom stall. Next time you're 80 miles west of Albuquerque, let me know.
Give me a call.
Give me a call, and I'll make sure the runway is clear for a landing.
I'll install the ladder.
I'll install the ladder. I'll make sure I have that W540 oil ready for an oil change for your dipstick.
Keep going.
I don't want
Nothing
to.
else? Please. Thank you.
This is gross. Check out my headlights.
Yes, there is ample opportunity for everyone involved to spread the love, to share the love.
Yes, and as you referenced with the lot lizards, there is perhaps an intrinsic illicit nature to the area. You know, if you've ever been to a truck stop anywhere in America at midnight, you see anything could be going on. You got the trucks there, it's dark, it's not really well regulated necessarily, and so if you were an enterprising person who wanted to do anything illicit, sell drugs, sell sex, buy drugs, buy sex, trade sex for drugs, put on an installment plan whereby you pay off sex with drugs, and you could even have sex with drugs or on drugs.
I mean, the combinations are endless.
Possibilities are endless. Maybe somewhere in the darkness, someone is selling unpasteurized cheese.
Oh, my goodness. Raw milk.
The rawest milk.
To change the subject utterly, I just want to do a quick addendum. I've already corrected myself. Call Me Al was 86, not 89. That's all. That's literally it.
I can sleep easy now.
Thank you.
I can call you Al now.
Please.
Okay, so she makes this pass at him. She puts forth her suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
He says, oh, she looked so liberated. She was looking fit to start. She got this back to front and sideways, wore her sleeve upon her heart.
Oh, she looked so liberated. She was looking fit to start. She got this back to front and sideways, wore her sleeve upon her heart.
It's quite funny. Usually it's wore her heart on her sleeve.
Yeah, what does that even mean, to wear your sleeve upon your heart?
I think it's just one of those Ian switch-em-ups, one of those little topsy-turvy metaphors that he likes.
Usually the switch-em-ups make sense in a funny way, though. This one, I can't decipher like how it would actually work this time.
I think it's because she's so liberated. Wearing your heart on the sleeve is saying, I'm obvious about what I want.
Yeah.
Which is, obviously, that's the case for her, but wearing your sleeve on your heart is like, she's so liberated.
She's all heart.
She has nowhere else to wear her sleeve.
Exactly.
She's welcoming.
Yeah, maybe.
Her heart has a little sweater on it because it's cold.
Yeah.
Nope.
Her heart arms.
I think she was looking fit to start, to me, as an engine metaphor.
Yeah. Also looking fit as a Brit term.
Yep. A fit bird. Oh, just one more coffee is about all I can take. I have to do a truck stop runner now. I'm not man enough to make it.
Oh, just one more coffee's about all I can take. You have to do a truck stop running now. I'm not man enough to make it.
Yeah, he acknowledges his weakness. He knows what's going on. And as soon as she started coming onto him, he's checking his exits, making an exit plan.
Which is so funny that he says, I'm not man enough, because actually, if someone offers you sex and you turn it down out of an abundance of self-control, I would say that's manlier.
Right.
Than having an inability to say no to somebody.
To just be an animal, yeah.
But I think that in the parlance of the time, in the parlance of the culture that Ian is talking about, the more quote-unquote manly, masculinely thing to do would be to get chlamydia at this truck stop.
The machismo thing, yeah. And that's it.
All repeats from there.
A repeat of the chorus, then we go back to the first verse, and then another repeat of the chorus.
Have you ever, Nick McGill, slept in a parking lot on the side of the road? What's the longest road trip that you've taken?
Well, longest road trip? Only a couple of hours, only like maybe 6 hours, 8 hours.
Down like from upstate to New York to downstate New York?
Well, that was only about 5 to get to Hofstra, 5 or 6. But I think we went to Vermont a couple years ago. Rook was a wee bairn at that time. But we landed in JFK. I rented a car. I drove 4.5, 5 hours back upstate when we got home after the trip. I had to stop twice to take a nap. I was exhausted.
Yeah, that was already after like 24 hours of travel.
Yeah, that was bad. I had some definite moments driving home from Hofstra at like 9, 10 at night, midnight, where I should have stopped.
Sure.
But I didn't. But yeah, nothing beyond like 6 or 8 hours. Never been that crazy.
So, our UK listeners will perhaps boggle at the fact that a lot of times the routes that these fellas are doing, these fellas and ladies, and non-binary people who run the trucking lines, they are sometimes, on the road for 36 hours straight.
Yeah.
Maybe with a little pullover and a 6-hour nap here or there, but they might be going from West Coast to East Coast back to the West Coast.
Because the quicker they get it done, the more they get paid.
And the more time at home they have.
Right. Oh, that's true too. Yeah. But the quicker you get it there, the quicker you get paid. So you can then take another load.
Yes, exactly.
And keep going.
Yes. Yeah. Taking loads like a trucker. Nobody takes loads like a trucker.
That's what I hear.
I have always been fascinated by the little sleeper cabs.
Oh, in the back?
Oh my gosh, I've always wanted one. I've always wanted to see inside one, but I've been too nervous to ask.
You just give the handies up in the front and you don't ask about that.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to put one of those on the Abarth. Have a little...
it would be bigger than the
Abarth.
But I just think it's so cool, that they have those little sleeping quarters. I've seen a video of one of them, and they have a little fridge.
Some of them do, yeah. It's not...
Some of them do, You could have a little TV back there. You could have a kettle. You can make a pot of noodles.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Well, it's probably long enough to stretch out on a bed going from side to side. The cabs are pretty big.
Yeah. I would want to spend all my time in there and not do any driving.
Just park on the side of the road and live there.
Yeah, not go anywhere. I would still pee in gallon jugs and throw them out the window, though.
Obviously, like you wouldn't be living the trucker life if you hadn't.
That's the way of the road.
Yeah. What's the furthest you've driven? You've driven from Chicago to upstate. That's pretty long, isn't it?
Yeah, I used to do Chicago to upstate in one go with no stops.
How far is that? How long is that?
I want to say it's like 9 hours, 10 hours.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
I mean,
that's still a lot.
I would sometimes stop overnight around Erie Erie, Pennsylvania, where it's up by the lake there. I remember I slept in the back of my truck a couple times.
Oh, yeah.
Which sometimes was fun, sometimes was less fun.
You had a cap over the back, though, so that's nice.
Yes, but it was the wrong size, and so it leaked in the rain.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here's a question. Why did Ian write this song, do you think, Nick McGill?
Well, I definitely think he's still in, at least partially in that phase of trying to like somehow embody this Americana, this working class, like American thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That feels a little bit like it. You could also, I mean, it's probably not that difficult to compare this life to like being on a tour bus.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking, that, and being on a tour bus, touring America, what would you see a lot of?
Driving alongside truckers.
Yeah,
and truck
exactly.
stops, yeah.
And they may have even, I don't know if the tour bus had a CB radio. Oh, okay. So a lot of trucker culture comes from the CB radio. So CB radio is a shortwave, like a walkie-talkie where you have to press it to speak and then you let it go. And there are a couple different channels, and it's how truckers communicate with each other. I think they still use them. I mean, even in the digital age.
I think so too, yeah. Whoever is tuned into that channel and is close enough will hear you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people keep in touch that way. Everybody has a code name. My parents actually had a set of CB radios when I was a very young kid.
Of course they did.
And when they were driving back and forth from upstate New York, because there were no cell phones, they would use a CB radio to keep in touch.
What were their handles?
I remember that my mom's nickname was Old Goat. Yeah, shocking that they got a divorce. Really couldn't have seen it coming. I don't remember what my dad's was.
Older Goat.
Even more Old Goat.
It's a shame. You'll have to find that out. So yeah, I think the Americana feel, the blue collar, the allegory of the tour bus kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, I think that pretty much lays it out.
I suppose also, speaking of allegories, this liberated truck stop lady with the sweet pie,
sweet cake
and the party in her stockings could be a stand-in for all the various temptations of the road.
Sure, of course.
You know, in this instance, it's someone saying, hey, would you like some sex? But it could be somebody saying, hey, would you like some drugs, some alcohol, some illicit cigarettes? Would you like to beat up a child? $10.
The big child beating ring back in '89 was bad.
People did a lot to get their own entertainment.
Yeah.
Truck stop runner. Truck stop runner. Truck stop runner.
Nick, next week we are arriving at our final destination on this album. We are finally dumping our nightcap load. With what song?
We've reached our final destination. There is a Rube Goldberg series of events that will kill us. It is Hardliner. Hardliner. She brings ice when I bring fire.
Oh, boy.
This one is good. I really like this one. This one is very dramatic.
I can't wait.
It's very good.
And then after Hardliner, we will jump ahead a few years to 1995's Roots to Branches.
That we are.
Where all sorts of things await for us.
Until next week, he is the cup of black coffee and I am the piece of sweet cake.
Ooh.
He is Omen Sade and I am Nick McGill.
There is a ladder in our stockings you can climb. We are the Feckless Momes.
And we look so liberated. We are Talk Tull to Me.
And I'm late for my appointment down at the hair salon. So I'll be driving a truck with my high heels